My name is James with New Adventure Films, and today I'm at the San Rafael Swell in central Utah on a travel adventure. On my first day, I set up my base camp at a remote location about 6 miles northwest of the main entrance near Goblin Valley. From here, I plan to take my Jeep all over the swell. After setting up my base camp, I headed for my first destination, the Behind the Reef Road. I started a loop on the Behind the Reef Road near the Goblin Valley entrance to the swell. I had been wanting to go on the Behind the Reef Road since I saw it on the map, but there was very little information on it or the condition of the road, which varies from season to season. If you look at it on Google Maps, it looks easy. Of course, everything on Google Maps looks easy. All Trails was not much help either, saying that most of the road was well maintained. I was also curious about why in one section there were two names for the road, Behind the Reef Road or Behind the Reef Trail. The beginning of the road was in pretty good shape with amazing views of the area on both sides of the road. There were rocky parts, of course, but nothing difficult. Since the canyon runs east to west in this section, it's best to be there early in the morning or late in the afternoon. I had a long way to go, so I chose the morning. But since the canyon would be in the shadows if I went too early, I went around 10 a.m. Here the road splits into two directions. One went along the reef up to the right, and the other into the wash where it dead ends. I walked the trail up to the right for about 50 yards and found it to be impassable in my Jeep. It was on the edge of a cliff about 6 feet wide with a ditch and some large boulders in the road. I took the road to the left towards the wash for a few more yards to try and find a way around, and found that it had been completely washed out and was about 6 feet deep, nearly straight down due to a recent storm. Had I come from the opposite direction, I would have had to drive back for hours to get to my base camp. So this answered my earlier question. At this point, the road really becomes a trail, so I had to turn around and headed back to my base camp to make new plans. After getting blocked from taking the loop around the Red Canyon from the Behind the Reef Trail, I decided to go the other direction to see if it was any better. This is the route I took. This time I brought a lot of gas with me, just in case I had to turn around and go all the way back, and I was running low on fuel. It was later in the afternoon as I passed my base camp, so I knew that the view in the late hazy afternoon would not be as good as it would have been in the morning, but I wanted to see what the road was like. On a ridge about 3/4 of the way to the section of the road that went into the wash, I saw some beautiful views and decided to stop and get some drone shots. The views here are stunning, but I knew they would have been better at sunset as most of the canyon faces west, so the setting sun would be a much better time to be here. After a brief stop, I continued into the wash. The wash was a very rough and dangerous road, with sharp rocks, ditches, and slick sand. There were places where the canyon walls closed in on both sides of the wash, and I only had a couple of feet on each side of the Jeep to get through. I thought to myself, if I get stuck in here, I have not seen another vehicle on the road since I got here, and in this deep canyon wash, miles away from anybody, I would be very hard to find, or would have at least a 3-day walk back to my campsite. Not only that, I forgot my emergency GPS device at my campsite in my rush to get to the canyon, so I had no way to call for help if something happened. All right, so basically, as you could see in this section, you're just going down a riverbed, a dried out riverbed. So you never want to take this route when it's raining or it's predicted to rain, because this whole thing could flood. You would be stuck. So don't do this in bad weather. Also, the views down here were not great for photos or video, as I was hemmed in on all sides by the cliffs. So I decided to turn around and go back to my base camp and find a better view higher up and earlier in the morning when the lighting was better.